Hello and welcome to Take This TV, the television book club podcast where each week we watch an episode or two of our favorite shows and we talk about them with our friends in the fandom. I'm Carmen and I'm joined as always by the amazing Kimberly Woods. Hello.
Hello, hot potatoes.
This season we are watching Dark Matter.
And today we're on episode 2, Trip of a Lifetime. The Apple description is, Jason wakes to a life that makes no sense. He doesn't have a family, and he's created something extraordinary. If you have not watched the previous 2 episodes, pause, go watch, and then come back and join us because we're about to dive in, and spoilers are ahead.
Spoilers. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That ending. What can I say? That was I was shocked.
I'm still shocked. I'm like, I can't believe that she died. The person that shot her when she showed up at the hospital, I was like, she has like real like enforcer, like, you know, deadly kind of person vibes. But I was like, well, they're like scientists. And it's a corporation. And corporations and scientists never do anything bad, right? So, yeah, I just was not ready for that.
I was not ready. We knew he was evil Jason, but we didn't know his corporation was actually that evil that they would shoot his former lover.
Yeah, like, no hesitation. And then tase Jason and duct tape him up.
Oh my gosh.
So we know that they're not, because like when he first escaped, I was like, oh, maybe this is like some kind of government agency or something, but they're like some kind of private military, like private company that has their own like enforcers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, Jason is in trouble. We talked last episode about like, why would evil Jason do all this? I think we figured it out now.
Yeah. Evil Jason made a mistake. There was an important decision where he could have chosen a life with, what's her name? Daniela, when he found out she was pregnant, but instead he chose his research. So that Jason, who chose his research and built Velocity, now regrets that decision and is obsessed with Daniela and goes back to a timeline where he made the right choice.
Oh my gosh. He's next level obsessed because he calls, I want to say Ron.
Ryan,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He calls Ryan because in Good Jason's timeline, Ryan is like, you know, you want the job or whatever. And he's like, you calling my wife? What are you doing calling my wife? And I was just like, this energy. Oh my God.
And before she goes out the door to run, he's like, where are you going?
Mm-hmm.
He like pulls her in and it's like, okay, this is a little intense.
Yeah. Well, he did goof up a few times because like he doesn't know that she's training for a 5K. So he's like, where are you going? And then he used her
Even though he wrote it down. He wrote down on the calendar training, but he forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And he messed up with the son because he had given the son advice about the girl he has a crush on before. Good Jason did already. And then now evil Jason got a chance to say something and said the completely like opposite thing about just be aloof.
Yeah, good Jason's like, you should be yourself and tell her that you like her. And evil Jason's like, don't tell her anything, be aloof. And so I feel like the family's starting to pick up on it a little bit.
Yeah. We also found out a little bit more about good Jason's relationship. It seems like he did choose his family. There was a question himself when he found out his wife was pregnant, but ultimately he decided that that's what he wanted. And so in that timeline, their love life is great, but they have a little trouble with their careers because he lost funding for his research, and now that's why he's teaching, and we see him looking bored. And Daniela no longer paints, supposedly.
She gave up on painting, and now he's a sad professor. Yeah.
And he goes to the bar a lot. He does go to the bar a lot, because when we see him in the other timeline, he goes into the bar and he's like telling the bartender, don't you remember me? I come here all the time. He's like, I've never seen you. So evil Jason has never been to this bar or had a drink in this bar, which was interesting.
Yeah. So good Jason is a bit of a barfly, it seems like. I'm like, this is so great because I feel like we talked about last time, the themes are kind of similar to some of the other shows, but I feel like the pacing of this show is so well done that you don't feel like it's a drag, especially because there's so many similar shows out right now. It's like this still feels fresh and new, and it has its own voice and its own story that's really engaging.
Yeah. And I love this whole theme about, like, the grass is greener, be careful what you wish for sort of thing, because we have it with Daniela in the evil Jason timeline where she's doing an art show and she's talking about, like, this T.S. Eliot quote, "Footfalls echo in the memory down the passage which we did not take, towards the door we never opened." So she's, like, exploring that theme, and then, you know, evil Jason is regretting his choice and, like, you know, jumping ship and trying to go get it back.
Oh my gosh, trying to find the life he never had.
Yeah.
But I mean, my thing is, like, Daniela in Evil Jason's timeline is, like, clearly still in love with him. So it's like, you're super wealthy and she loves you anyway.
Yeah.
So why don't you just, like, get with her now and start a family? So maybe something else is going on.
Apologize, do something. Yeah.
That's true. Maybe
I don't know,
he wouldn't be
unless
able
he
to
really
do that.
just ran out of stuff. But yeah, jumping another timeline seems a little
Maybe
wild.
he's like so toxic masculine that he's like, instead of saying I'm sorry, I'm going to invent dimensional hopping so I can be in a superposition so I can just steal another version of the woman I love instead of saying I'm sorry.
Maybe if he gave better advice, like maybe if he took the other Jason's advice and like was one to like admit his feelings first and give more in the relationship, he'd be okay. But no, he wants to be aloof. He has to be aloof in a different timeline and jump.
Just jump around, murdering people. What do you think about the other person who is evil Jason's girlfriend?
Amanda?
Amanda or something like that? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little worried because now we see how evil this corporation really is, that they're shooting people. And so it's like, okay.
Yeah.
She seems nice. Like what we've seen of her, she sounds very nice. She says she wants to help Jason.
But does she?
But, yeah. Would she if she had the chance, or would she have turned him in? I don't know.
Does she know that Daniela's going to get murdered, or like other people will be murdered? Like, has this happened before? I kind of feel like she's in on it. Like, well, I don't know if she's in on it, but I feel like she's like about this business and like all the dirt that they're doing. So
yeah.
I don't know if she can be trusted.
I don't know. And where is she in good Jason's timeline? What is she doing?
Oh, yeah.
Because we haven't seen her.
So, like, is she even around?
It was interesting to see Ryan in Evil Jason's timeline. Since he didn't win the award and he'd put on some weight and...
He was having a hard time. It was a rough life for Ryan.
But he was still close to Daniela. They were, you know, still good friends.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if there was going to be something more there when they showed them together.
Oh, like they would be like...
Yeah, in this timeline, but it didn't...
I'm kind of glad that they didn't. I feel like it's a lot of stuff happening. It's like a love triangle is like, all right.
Yeah.
But I did think that, like, that scene where they're all together at Daniela's apartment and good Jason tells them the truth. Mm-hmm. I'm really happy that happened because I was like, oh, man, are they going to kind of drag this out? But thankfully they didn't. And I feel like that was, it all feels really realistic of like, oh, what would someone in this situation do? Yeah. And so I thought that was really compelling. Yeah. I mean, also Ryan's reaction is like, I feel like that makes a lot of sense, especially because it seems like evil Jason was kind of a jerk to him. So yeah, why would he believe him?
I agree. I feel like the characters are really smart. Like I'm glad good Jason tricked Amanda, got her out of the house, and went in to get the files to find out what evil Jason was up to and what research he was doing. We found out about the box.
He literally built Schrodinger's box and he made himself the cat. Yeah. So I'm curious, like we were talking before we started recording, that it seems like there are infinite possibilities of infinite timelines and realities out there just based on different decisions people make in their life. So has evil Jason been going through different realities, trying to find the perfect one where he and Amanda are together, or Daniela are together, and have a kid together, like the perfect life that he's wanted? Because we see him taking notes in the storage locker. So is he like taking notes of each life and each reality that he finds a version of himself till he finds the perfect candidate? Mm-hmm. It's really creepy.
It's very creepy. And how many times has he done this? And what is he about to go do now with his duct tape?
I think he's gonna go and kill Ryan.
Yeah, is he gonna kill Ryan? Like, it'll be interesting to see what this evil Jason does, because he'll stop at nothing. It seems he's traveled timelines, so
yeah,
he's gonna force this thing to happen with Daniela.
So the guy, man, we just talked about him before we started recording. His name starts with an L. Leighton, yes. Leighton. If I get his name wrong, I'm just going to start calling him Lex Luthor, and you'll know who I mean. So, Leighton, when Good Jason gets to the alternate timeline and he first sees Leighton, he's like, oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. Who do you think Leighton is in Good Jason's timeline?
Yeah, we don't have him either yet. I'm curious to find that out, too.
Yeah, like, is he also a scientist? I kind of got the impression that maybe he's, like, someone who's been funding this, or, like, some kind of business partner. We see him doing his best Lex Luthor impersonation, looking out over the city when he's talking to Amanda. And whoever the muscle person is clearly working for him.
Was he, like, some sort of investor or something? Because he talked about losing funding and not doing his research anymore in the other timeline, so maybe he was, like, somebody who was donating or funding previously.
Oh, yeah. And maybe that's why Good Jason hasn't seen him.
Maybe. Ever since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But keeping with the Lex Luthor analogy, the person that's working with him is, like, his mercy. Lex Luthor's, like, bodyguard and muscle person. And she absolutely kills Daniela. And I feel like, is she, I don't know her pronouns actually, but I'm assuming, is she also in Good Jason's timeline? Like, who is that person? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really curious to see.
I also thought it was funny when Good Jason starts to have that connection with Daniela on the evil Jason side. And they start kissing, and it's like, is this cheating? This might be okay, you know? Is this kind of the same person?
I was like, it's your wife somewhere out there, you know? I was about it. I was like, and pillow?
Yeah. This is fine. This is a pass. This doesn't count.
Well, whatever love was blossoming has been cut short, unfortunately.
Yeah. There was also an Easter egg in here from It's a Wonderful Life, where we get them showing the banister and the wobbly banister in Good Jason's timeline.
Yeah.
And the non-wobbly banister and the evil Jason's timeline. And George Bailey, of course, took his family for granted, and so we get Good Jason, who might have been taking his family for granted, and now that he's away from them is realizing just what he had.
Yeah, he makes this little wedding band out of rubber bands. And I'm like, cute. Oh, that's so sad and cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm rooting for him. Although, I don't know if he's going to make it in this harsh world that he's living in, so we'll see.
I also thought it was funny that evil Jason is a better teacher.
Well, at least more, charismatic.
Yeah, more charismatic teacher for the students. And during his lecture, he was saying, respect the opportunity. Which seemed very on brand for him.
Very ominous.
Yep, that's what he's doing right now. He's taking full advantage of his opportunity.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious, at first I was like, well, if Daniela lived, I was like, will Good Jason want to stay with this version of Daniela or this life or whatever? But now that things are kind of popping off, it's I don't think he's gonna.
That's not even a choice anymore.
Not a choice. Yeah, they made it for him.
Yeah, they took that immediately away.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens now once they take him back to Velocity.
And
maybe find out more about Amanda and what she's all about.
Yes. Well, because they said Jason is the co-founder of Velocity. So that means there's another person?
Oh.
And so, maybe...
Leighton?
Thank you. You saw the blank face. You were like, you're Leighton, right? Yeah. But maybe Leighton is the other founder. Or maybe he's the funding person. I don't know. Or maybe Amanda might be the co-founder. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see.
I also think it's funny how they make his place in the evil Jason world very sterile, like his home.
Yeah.
Very kind of cold, and then on the Good Jason side, it's warmer tones and lived in a little bit.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm hooked on this show. After 2 episodes, I'm like, all right, I'm in. I
Me
gotta
too.
know.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you so much for joining us. We're at Take This TV on TikTok and Instagram. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review. Let us know if you're liking the series so far. And remember, it's dangerous to watch TV alone.